I'm Dana Bristol Smith with Leap to Success, and I'm so glad that you could be with us today for self-care in stressful times. It's so important that you take care of yourself. Today's topic is letting go of anxiety, part 2. So last week in episode 19, we gave several strategies for letting go of anxiety. And there's so much to talk about here, and there's so much that we need to put into practice because our bodies hold stress and anxiety. But before we dive in, I'd like to tell you briefly about Leap to Success and introduce you to my co-host. So Leap to Success, we are a women's empowerment organization, a nonprofit based in Carlsbad, California. And we work with women who are overcoming domestic violence, homelessness, and other major life challenges. We have shifted all of our programs online and are providing weekly support to women here in San Diego County who are not only dealing with those challenges like living in shelter and transitional housing, having escaped abusive relationships, but then the layer of COVID and the uncertainty on top of that. And I know that many of you who are with us today are in helping professions. So thank you for all that you're doing to help people who are in distress in our community. I'm going to go ahead now and introduce my co-host, Kelly Grimes. Here's Kelly.
Thank you so much, Dana. I am thrilled that we are continuing to provide this self-care in stressful times. And we needed a second episode for letting go of anxiety because there are more tools and strategies that we want to share today. So I'm really happy that we're here together.
Thank you, Kelly. And now I'm going to introduce Alyssa, who's providing our technical support, and let you know that in today's session, we're going to be taking a poll, but that's not for a couple minutes, but here's Alyssa.
Hi, everyone. Super excited that you're able to join us today for our Self-Care in Stressful Times episode 20. If you missed part 1 of the series or are interested in watching any of the other episodes that we've put out, we do have all of those replays available on both our YouTube channel and our website. I will be putting the links for those in the chat. And then also for the chat, if you would like to interact with the other attendees on this webinar, make sure before you send a message that you have your settings set to all panelists and attendees. Otherwise, Dana, Kelly, and myself will be the only ones who see your message, which is totally fine if that's what you prefer. And then, as Dana mentioned, we will be having a poll a little bit later, and that will just be popping up directly on your screen. So don't be alarmed if you get a pop-up. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you, Alyssa. Okay, so our bodies are constantly sending us signals. And if we don't pay attention to our bodies, those signals get louder and louder. Those signals can be discomfort. Those signals can be emotional upset. Those signals can be pain and ultimately illness. So it's so incredibly important that we have tools and practices to use and that we're aware of those signals that our body is sending us. Today, we're going to be exploring several different practices, but the first half of this webinar is going to be taking you through a meditative process using tapping as the tool, and tapping specifically to release anxiety in the body. And we're going to be led by an expert. Her name is Jessica Ortner. And Jessica is part of the tapping solution along with her brothers, Nick and Alex. And I'm going to ask Alyssa to right now put up a couple of resources for you in the chat because there are free tapping meditations available on the Tapping Solutions website and also available for your iPhone or Android phone, and it's called the Tapping Solution. Many of the resources are available free. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to play a meditation that Jessica will lead us through. But first, what I'd like to do is ask you right now in this moment to think about anxiety in your body and just tune in for a moment. Take a breath and you're going to rate yourself, and Alyssa will put the poll up on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very low level of anxiety to 10 being massive anxiety, to rate yourself right now. What is your current level of anxiety? We're going to be doing this again at the end of the tapping meditation. And what we're going to look for is we're going to see if this tool has been effective for you to rate your level of anxiety. Thank you. I see some people going ahead and checking in. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, my level of anxiety is about a 4. We will see on the poll what your rating, and we'll be able to share that. And then at the end of this meditation, we'll be able to see if that has changed at all. Okay, so what I'd like to do right now is demonstrate the different points for tapping and also share a quote. And tapping is also known as the emotional freedom technique. And I can see the poll right now, and it looks like the number that's got the greatest amount of participation from you is a 6. So that's a pretty high level of anxiety to be carrying. I see 6 has got 27%, 7 and 8 both had 17%. So you all are carrying a pretty heavy load of anxiety right now. So take a breath in with me and release it. Okay. And I want to share this quote from a doctor who is a professor of pediatrics and population and family health at Columbia University. Her name is Melanie Gold. And she says, "There is nothing that has been as effective in reducing my physical pain in psycho-emotional discomfort and stress as tapping. There are studies and science behind this method showing that it is very effective at reducing stress." So what I'd like you to do right now is make sure that you've got nothing in your hand. So if you're eating lunch, go ahead and set it down. And I want to show you the points that are going to be referred to during this tapping meditation so you know what they are. The first point is called the karate chop point. So just go ahead and find that fleshy part on the outside of your hand and tap with your other hand just using a couple of fingers. So that's the karate chop point. The next point that's going to be referred to are the eyebrows. So you're going to use both of your hands for this and just gently tap along the bone there. Next is the outer eye. Next is beneath the eye, and it's the bone area beneath the eye socket, or the outer area of the eye socket. So just tap on there gently with both hands. Next is under the nose, then under the mouth, and it's the indent there. And then the next is collarbone. So you can go ahead and use both hands and tap on the collarbone point. Next is under your arm, and this is a little awkward, so lift your arm up, and it's right under your arm, a couple inches below your armpit. And then the last point is the top of the head. So right in the center of the head, tapping gently there. So those are the points that Jessica is going to be referring to. Now you're an expert, you know what they are, and Jessica is going to guide us for about the next 9 minutes. And when she says to rate your level of anxiety on the app, I'll just go ahead and do that here with my level of anxiety. And I thank you for already having done that in the poll. So here we go. And here is Jessica Ortner in the Releasing Anxiety Tapping Meditation.
Welcome to Releasing Anxiety Tapping Meditation. Anxiety is not just felt in our mind, but with our whole body, like pressure in our chest or tension in our stomach, which is why using a technique like tapping that uses the mind and body is so powerful. Anxiety often appears when we are worried about the future and feel disconnected from the present moment. Notice where the anxiety shows up in your body. It may be your stomach, chest, or head. On a scale from 0 to 10, how intense does that anxiety feel? Mark it in the app now. Let's begin by taking a nice deep calming breath in and out. We start by focusing on the anxiety and honoring the truth of how we feel, so we can lower the intensity with tapping and turn towards the positive. Tapping on the side of hand, repeat after me, either in your mind or out loud. Even though I'm feeling anxious, I honor how I feel, and I give my body permission to relax. Even though I feel this anxiety in my body, I honor how I feel, and I am open to more ease. Even though I feel this tension in my body, I accept how I feel, and I relax more with every tap. Eyebrow, all this anxiety. Side of the eye, I notice how it feels in my body. Under the eye, I notice the weight of this emotion. Under the nose, all this anxiety in my, and name where you feel it in your body. Under the mouth, it's hard to relax. Collarbone, with everything going on. Under the arm, this is a lot to handle. Top of the head, and I feel it in my body. Tapping on the eyebrow point, think about the biggest reason for feeling anxious. I'll guide you through the points. Don't worry about saying anything out loud here. As you continue to tap on the eyebrow point, simply focus on what is causing you the most anxiety. Moving to the side of the eye, feeling present, safe, and grounded. Notice if it's a particular task that leaves you feeling anxious. Simply think about it now as you tap. Under the eye, ask yourself, what is this anxiety really about? What is it related to? Keep tapping under the eye and just notice what comes up. Maybe it's a lot of things or just one. All you have to do here is be present with your thoughts as your body continues to relax. Under nose, being present in this moment now, allow the feelings you have to rise up. Under the mouth, begin to recognize and release the anxiety. Just breathe deeply and let it go. Collarbone. Think about what's causing you this anxiety and notice how you can think about it, but now you feel more calm and relaxed in your body. Tapping under the arm, notice any remaining thoughts or feelings around this anxiety, trusting that whatever comes up or doesn't come up is perfect for you. Moving to the top of the head, just imagine how you'd approach whatever you're facing without the anxiety. How would you breathe? How would you feel in your body? Now let's move back to the eyebrow point and repeat after me. It's safe to release this anxiety. Side of the eye, right now and right here. Under the eye, I am safe. Under the nose, I don't need to have all the answers now. Under the mouth, even before anything changes. Collarbone, I can begin to relax. Under the arm, I can't stress myself to a solution. Top of the head, I choose peace instead. Eyebrow, I am open to inspiration. Side of the eye, I don't need to force myself to relax. Under the eye, I simply allow it to happen. Under the nose, relaxation is my natural state. Under the mouth, releasing tension in my body. Collarbone, it is safe to relax. Under the arm, I'm present in this moment. Top of the head, as I allow the rest of my body to relax. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, check in with how you feel. Check in again on the intensity of the stress and anxiety.
There. So I hope you took a nice deep breath in, and we're going to go ahead and put the poll up again. And check in with your body and see what your current level of anxiety is now on a scale of 1 to 10. I can tell you I feel a whole lot less anxious. And I love the phrase that Jessica uses, you can't stress yourself to a solution. You know, we can't force anxiety to go away, but we can take deep breaths. We can use practices like tapping to allow ourselves to feel better, to feel more relaxed, and to feel less anxiety. Oh my goodness. So I see the poll results here, and the majority of you that have answered the poll are now at a level 2. And before it was a level 6. So that's a huge shift downward. I'm so glad to see that. So very glad. So that's from the Tapping Solutions app. There is a free version that has a whole series on coronavirus related stress. And then there's a paid version, which actually that meditation was from, I think it's about $5 or $6 a month for the paid version. And if you could have that kind of stress and anxiety reduction every day, I think that's well worth investing $5 a month. I mean, that's a Starbucks, isn't it? And okay, that's my gift to you for today. And now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kelly, who's going to share some additional strategies for you to continue reducing anxiety. Here's Kelly.
Thank you so much, Dana, for that. I want you all to know that I love tapping, and I use tapping all of the time, personally as part of my self-nurturing practice. And I just want to highlight 3 things that really I find to be the most empowering. What I love about it is not an attempt to get rid of your feelings. It's an attempt to own your feelings, accept them. So when we start that tapping, it's even though I feel whatever it is that you're feeling, I honor and accept my feelings. So there's an aspect of that that's so deeply nurturing to be able to acknowledge how we feel. Then to make a choice to release the feeling through the tapping, and then to tap in how you want to feel. And I loved these affirmations that we tapped in. I choose peace. I am open to inspiration. I allow myself to relax. Relaxation is my natural state. It is safe to relax. So what I love about the tapping strategy is that you're basically trying to lower that amygdala response, that fight flight part that not only is anxiety itself, but it feeds anxiety. When our amygdala is activated, we are looking for danger. If I'm looking for danger, I probably will find it. So there's a sense all the time of not being safe. So giving yourself the gift of tapping can help settle your nervous system, ground you, and give you more options. So once you are grounded some, and you've settled your amygdala, and you are now wondering to yourself, how else can I nurture myself? I want to give you a couple of other strategies in addition to the tapping that can be very nurturing, and also that can continue to relax you, that can continue to allow you to let go of the anxiety and how it's showing up. Last episode, in the part 1 of letting go of anxiety, we really looked at how anxiety showed up in our breath, in our bodies, in our thoughts. So I want to remind you that self-awareness is a very empowering practice. And anything that you can do to become more aware of what's going on for you, instead of acting out of the anxiety, trying to ignore it or push past it, really to process it and actively let it go, is going to be a more sustainable way of coping with these difficult times. If we keep holding on to all the anxiety, it is going to continue to build and we're going to feel overwhelmed. So going back to that place of relaxation and safety, our breath is a powerful tool. And I want to let you know that when you exhale for longer than you inhale, you can actually balance your parasympathetic nervous system, which balances the whole nervous system. So it would look something like inhaling for a count of 4, holding it for 2, and then exhaling for a count of 6, holding it for 2, and starting again. So let's try that. Okay, so I'm going to invite you to inhale, and in your mind, you can count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 2. 1, 2, and then exhale for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That might be a little tricky for some of us at first, so use that as a practice, because the longer we exhale from our inhale, that really helps us settle down. And when we invite in a deeper breath, when we're anxious, we usually breathe in a pretty shallow way. So it just reminds us to create a little bit more space around us when we breathe in deeply and breathe out for a little bit longer. So that's one strategy. Knowing also that we can add words to that, similar to the tapping, where we could say, I breathe in spaciousness, I breathe out anxiety. I breathe in peace, I breathe out anxiety. So whatever words would be affirming and supportive to you, you can add those on to give more meaning, and it allows us something to focus on when we're breathing, which can be really helpful as well, instead of chasing off to our thoughts of our anxious thoughts and other things, of having a way of really being intentional and mindful with what we're doing. The second strategy that I want to invite you into is taking a walk. This is what we know. When we have a fight-flight response, we have increased cortisol and adrenaline that rush through our system. Now, it's adaptive, because if we needed to fight or we needed to run away, we would have the chemicals needed in order for our body to respond in that way. But normally that is not what we do. We freeze. We freeze, and all these chemicals are rushing through our bodies. They make our hearts race. They have blood flow out to our big muscles, so that sometimes we could have digestive problems because the blood flow goes away from our stomachs. So there's all of these ways that the physiology of what's happening when we're having a stress response and an anxiety response actually feeds that sense of anxiety. The shallow breathing, our face might flush, we might get hot, all of those things. So a really useful tool is to take a walk. Now, there is evidence to show that a 20-minute walk is great because it really releases all of that. But guess what, friends? You could walk for 5 minutes. Quite frankly, you could get up and do jumping jacks. Any way to get those chemicals out of your system is going to be a really supportive way for you to take care of yourself. And when we're out in nature, we know that the impacts are amplified. So if you can go out in nature, you'll feel even more benefits to reducing anxiety and letting that go. Another thing that you can do, because perhaps you can't leave the house, you've got kids or you've got other things going on, you could put music on and dance. And again, giving yourself release. You could create a anxiety busting playlist, and you could have your favorite songs on there that really shift your mood, help you feel more uplifted, and dance out the anxiety from your body. You can include your family. It can be a way you exercise, and it can be fun. Now, we know when we're anxious and we're thinking about the future, we're not in the now. Fun is all about the now. So if you can invite in music and dance and sing to your heart's content, that could also be a really powerful way to release anxiety. Another way, in case you can't get your body moving at that point, is to journal. Journal is a powerful tool. And to bring in the mindfulness practice of curiosity and non-judgment, just journaling down how you're feeling gives you a place to look back and have a reflection on what is causing the anxiety, what are the impacts, how are you feeling. You can affirm your own self, you can acknowledge yourself, and we have seen there's a lot of evidence-based about how important having a way of expressing that with journaling. If you haven't tried it, you may just start with 5 minutes a day of journaling, and if you can move up to 20 minutes, that can be really, really powerful. And I want to remind you that tapping is a tool that you can use as well. So those are 5 tools that you can start incorporating to really release more and more of the anxiety in your life. And as Ralph Waldo Emerson reminds us, nothing can bring you peace but yourself. I hope you find these tools supportive and that they will bring more peace to you and your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kelly. Those are really wonderful suggestions. So I'm wondering, friends, now that you've heard several suggestions from Kelly, taking a walk, journaling, creating a playlist to dance to, plus tapping, what strategy will you use the next time you feel anxiety creeping into your body? What strategy will you use? And go ahead and share this in the chat, because by doing so, you're going to reinforce that for yourself. You're going to be accountable to yourself, and you're actually going to remember, because you're not only thinking it, but you're typing it in, and then I will share them out loud so that everybody can hear them. And as you hear yours, that's reinforcement again. So this will come to your mind the next time you're feeling anxious. So here, they're starting to flood in. So music and dance, yeah, I think that's absolutely great. Another person has said journal. Another person has said take a walk and go outside. Yeah, those are great. Another, dancing. Well, Kelly, I think we might be having a dance party. It'd be pretty fun. Someone else saying moving the anxiety out of her body. And yes, you can do that through dancing, through walking, through just getting up and shaking, which is a great way to do it. Someone else saying walking and deep breathing. Another person saying breathing, tapping, and playing her favorite tunes and dancing to them. All of those are great suggestions. And I know that we've got friends with us on Facebook Live as well. So if you want to go ahead and put them in the comments on Facebook Live, that will be recorded, and that will be your reinforcement the next time you feel anxiety creeping into your body. I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to let you know that each time you join us and you make this 30-minute commitment, you're making it to yourself. And you're telling yourself that you're important. You're putting yourself on your own to-do list. And you're not just waiting till the end of the day and seeing if you have any energy left for yourself, but you're really prioritizing yourself. And that's the most important thing that you can do right now, because you can't give to others from an empty cup. I want to let you know that we have a new page up on our Leap to Success website where you can register in advance for all of our webinars for the month of August. So Alyssa will put that up in the chat area. You go right to leaptosuccess.org. There's a button on the homepage that says self-care webinars. You just click on that button and it'll take you to our beautiful new page that has a lotus flower to bring you peace and calm. Please share this with your friends. We're making these available free every week, and we're really glad to be able to be useful and to be of service during this difficult time for all of us. So be well, my friends, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. Bye-bye.